Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karima and I am powered by power. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is episode 4 of a series that I'm calling Stop Giving Away Your Power. Okay, so just a quick recap, just in case you ain't seen none of the videos before this. Let me tell you what you missed so you can go back and check it out. Episode 1 was kind of like an unplanned, beautiful mistake, you know? Sounds familiar. Sounds like me. But it's okay. Sorry. I have my moments. my moments. But anyway, episode 1 was intended to be for like just a one shot. I'm gonna put this out on a Monday, and it didn't go down that way. It was one of the hardest videos that I've ever taken, which led to a series of hard videos to take, but it's gotten easier. I will say that it's gotten easier. It has been eye-opening doing this series, because I realized so much more work that needs to be done, so much more purpose that needs to be fulfilled. And so I'm grateful for episode 1 because it really started I don't even know what to call it. Like, this is monumental. Like, this is something that is bigger than just this 5-episode series. This is part of my purpose, part of my journey, part of my deliverance, and I'm just sharing it with you all. And so I'm grateful for you for watching this. If you shared it, thank you. If you are commenting down below, thank you. Please make sure you continue to encourage me. Share your stories if you have any stories to share. Let's just, you know, be in this together, you know? So that was episode 1. Episode 2, I decided to, after the struggle, the very visible struggle in episode 1, I decided to, you know, go deeper into the scriptures, go deeper into like what God is really trying to say with me. Where is he trying to lead me? And I decided to do episode 1, it belongs to him. Stop giving away your, episode 1. Episode 2, stop giving away your power because it belongs to him, right? And that episode, I really sat in front of the Bible, literally, and I dissected one of the scriptures that I gave you in episode 1. And I went through how our body belongs to him, and it's made for him. We are supposed to be glorifying God, him meaning God, Jesus Christ, right? Our bodies were made for him. Our bodies are a temple, and we can't defile it. And so I talked all about that in episode 2. Go check it out. Episode 3, it was the props for me. I brought out a scale and I told you guys about the unbalanced power exchange. Okay, that day that I recorded that video was a struggle, because I almost got electrocuted that day. I almost didn't want to do the video, but I have to be able to start everything that I finish, especially in this season that I'm in. And so that episode, just thinking about the process of the recording process, the behind the scenes of everything, like, I really realized that this was something that I was on purpose to do, because the way the enemy came for me that day was crazy, but it happened. And that was yesterday's episode, so please go and check it out if you have not checked it out yet. And today I will be talking about stop giving away your power and how to do that, because like, there's all these benefits to maintaining your power, understanding your power, learning about your power. And we also talked about like power on a more general, broader aspect in episode 3, and not just the thing that Lauryn Hill wrote about, but just understanding yourself and being able to protect your power and protect your peace, and just, you know, like, learn who you are so that you don't squander the gifts that God's giving you, right? So this episode, I'm going to share how we do that. How do we honor God with our bodies? How do we make sure we protect our power? How do we stop giving it away? Okay, so today I have 5 tips for you how to stop giving away your power, and let's just jump into it. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't sit here and listen to me and you're not subscribed. Please, just press the button. It's down below. It's red. It's free. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. You ready? Okay, you did it? Okay, cool. So I'm going to be looking over here. I got my handy Daniel Hustle book. So I have that just, you know, to keep me on track. And I told you guys I don't script these things. I wrote it down. I wrote down some bullet points and I want to share them with you and elaborate on them. And so here we go. How-to guide. How to stop giving away your power. Number one, establish your why. Why are you choosing to stop? Why are you choosing to maintain your power? What is your reason for holding on to your power, right? Establish your why so that when those times come where you want to relinquish some of your power to people who don't deserve it, or maybe you think they deserve it so you want to give it away and they ain't really supposed to have it, understand your why. When you establish your why and that's the reason why you're doing something, it makes things a lot easier because you have that to recall. You have that on the forefront of your mind. And I also suggest that you write it down somewhere. Make it visible so that you can see it every single time you wake up, or every single time you brush your teeth, or every single time you look in the mirror, to remind yourself, a constant reminder of why you decided to stop giving away your power, why you decided to wait on who God has created for you, why you decided to just maintain your power and love yourself. Why? Think about it. Write it down. Post it up somewhere. Let somebody else know so that they can hold you accountable. We're going to get to that in a second. Are you tired of giving it away? Is that why you stopped? Like, is this draining you? Do you feel empty? Like, do you feel like there's just like this void that you have? Why are you stopping? Why do you want to stop? Why are you tired of doing this, right? Like, understand the root of the reasons you were giving away your power. Like, what was the purpose of that, and why do you want to stop, right? Do you think that there's become an addiction? Do you think that there's something that is something that you can't stop? And that's dangerous, right? If you are doing something and you think that your life cannot live without it, or you can't be without it, then we need to have a deeper conversation. We need to really go seek counseling. We need to really be able to get to that nitty-gritty of why we're doing this and why we decided to stop. Establish your why. That is the first thing. Like, begin to understand why you're doing this. Why are you starting this journey? Why have you decided to stop? Okay? So after you do that, and you have it written down and you have it posted, set some boundaries now. Boundaries is a great book. I don't have it in here. It's on my bookshelf in my living room. But if you really want to understand boundaries, I suggest you get this book. It changed my life. Like, towards, like, I'll say the latter end of quarantine, right? Like, I started reading this book and it began to change my life. It began to really show me why it's necessary to set up boundaries, and it went through each phase of your life. And I was reading about parts of the book that didn't even pertain to me, because it does talk about family and it does talk about your husband or your spouse or whatever the case may be. I even read those parts, like the parts that didn't like necessarily fit my life right then and there, but the parts that did, girl, I read the whole book cover to cover, because it really helped me to really understand boundaries, understand how to protect your peace, how to protect your mind, so that you can live the life that you deserve. You can live the life that is suitable for you, that God has created for you, and you don't let anything or anyone interfere with that. And you set up the boundaries. You begin to articulate your why. You begin to articulate yourself a little bit better, because you understand how these certain things were pulling from me and stripping me of my power. And I now have realized and pinpointed that, and I'm setting up this boundary. You no longer have this power to take my power. You no longer have this space in my life to take from me if I don't want to give to you. You know what I mean? So setting up boundaries can help you really in your dating life too, right? Like, if you have gone through a season where you don't want to date and you're finally back on in the dating pool, or maybe you're not dating right now, whatever the case may be, when it comes to figuring out how to maneuver in that world, or maneuver with the opposite sex, is very, 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 very important that you set up boundaries. When do you talk on the phone? Right? If you are up at a certain time talking on the phone, conversations can tend to get a little risky. Okay? So be careful with the amount of time you spend on the phone and the time that you're talking on the phone. Where do you go on dates? What do you wear to these dates? Do you have alone time in your house? For me, and I think I said this already, like, I cannot have men in my house. I just can't. That is a no-go for me, because every single time I overestimate myself, because I've gone on this like a couple of months of like no, saying, like, exercising my no, and I think, okay, well, I've been good for these couple of however long, I can manage this, and then things just blow up, right? So no, men can't be in my house, and maybe that's a boundary that you can set for yourself, right? What else? So what are your non-negotiables, right? You don't want to waste your time. You want to set boundaries. You want to get to know somebody so that you don't waste your time. So that means you need to know what you're looking for. You need to know what your non-negotiables are. Like, do you want to date a man with kids? Do you want to date a man that lives at home? Do you want to date a man that doesn't know God? I hope that's not your case, right? That should definitely be a non-negotiable. You need to know Jesus and have a relationship with him, right? But you need to know what you're looking for and be able to have a boundary within yourself to know that, okay, if this is who you are, right? We're not going any further than this as a romantic partnership, right? We could be friends. You know, everybody that you date don't have to be somebody that you mess with or that you end up with, right? Sometimes people come in our lives just to be friends, and that's okay. A lot of people have their ideas about opposite sex being friends. This is not what this video is about, but to each their own, right? You have to be able to know your heart. You have to be able to know your patterns. You have to be able to know what boundaries work for you in your life, right? There's certain people that have more self-control than others. There's certain people that have a greater willpower than others. And so you have to learn yourself in order to set up the boundaries for yourself, right? I can tell you all the boundaries that I have, but if my lifestyle isn't suitable for your lifestyle, or it's not the same as your lifestyle, then my boundaries are not going to work for you. You have to really sit and go to God and see, like, God, what boundaries do I need to set up so that I can stop giving away my power? And I'm telling you, girl, once you set boundaries and start exercising those boundaries, because it's cool to have them on a piece of paper, but you actually have to do them. You actually have to exercise them, especially when they make you feel uncomfortable, right? Those are probably the best kind of boundaries, because they go outside of your trend. They go outside of what you're used to. They help you to break the cycle of patterns that have allowed you to give away your power, right? So set those boundaries. Set those boundaries. You have to. So establish your why, set your boundaries, and the next thing is to establish your accountability. The best kind of accountability that you can have, in my opinion, is therapy or counseling. I've had some interesting therapists. Not currently in therapy right now, but I am currently seeking spiritual counseling. I've started the work that needs to be done to really have the difficult conversations in order for me to I realize I say kind of sometimes. I want to stop that. But in order for me to do what God needs me to do in his kingdom, I do realize that there has to be spiritual guidance. Like, I have to have spiritual guidance from my spiritual leader. So if you are in a situation or at a church where you are able to set up counseling with a spiritual leader, I think that would be the best kind of accountability to have. I did have spiritual counseling at the church that I was at prior to the church that I'm in now. It was great. Like, I was able to really get poured into, really get affirmed for just the work that needs to be done and the things that needed to be done in my life at that time. I also think therapy is good. I haven't had the best situations with therapy. My first therapist fell asleep on me. Yeah, she fell asleep on me. I gave her the benefit of doubt the first time, but the second time, it was just like, no, I'm not about to pay you to fall asleep on me. And like, Homegirl didn't even acknowledge it. She was an older woman, but I was just like, yeah, no. That was the first encounter that I had with therapy, and I was just like, I couldn't do it. So I stopped going for a while, but then COVID hit, so I was just like, nah, I need to get to, because I just started sitting with all my thoughts. So like, let me talk this out. And that was around the time where my accountability partner and I had stopped talking, and so I was hurt from that. I didn't have that person anymore in my life. I'm now starting to, like, we're fine now, but I was hurt, and so I needed therapy, because I'm just like, I don't want to tax anybody else with my stuff, because that's just, I found that was kind of the issue before. So I got therapy. I used BetterHelp. It was a great app. I found a great therapist on there, but my insurance didn't cover it, so I had to stop going. And she was just like, yeah, you don't need this anyway, so it's fine. I was just like, yes I do. You're not supposed to encourage me to leave, but whatever. Now I'm in the process of getting spiritual guidance from my spiritual leader, so that's the best kind anyway. So I say all of that to say on my rant that find you some spiritual accountability, right? Someone who knows the word, someone who's able to give you the word, to able to hold up a mirror to your stuff and be able to show you who you are in the scriptures. There's nothing like it. I do think that, you know, best friends are cool depending on what kind of relationships you guys have. Like, it's really good to have somebody else to talk to, somebody else you can go to, where they don't judge you, where they feel like you feel that you can be comfortable around them, and that they won't be your yes man, and they'll tell you when your stuff, it doesn't smell too good, right? Like, those kind of friends are always great. And if you can find a group of friends who are like-minded, who have the same goals, who believe in what you believe in, who want to see you succeed, and there's no jealousy or animosity or any type of anything that can kind of cause strife in the relationship, hold on to those friendships, right? Find people around you that are going to be iron, because you know you are iron, because you know you have power, right? And iron sharpens iron. You want to have people around you that is going to be able to speak to who you are going to be, who you are becoming, and not who you were. Let people be able to encourage you. Be around people who know how to edify you and to lift you up, not tear you down. Like, that is accountability, and friendship should look like that. If your friends is out here like, well, they're not really friends. If they're shaming you and making you feel bad, they're not really your friends. So just be careful with the friends you do choose. Be prayerful, which is going to be my next point, right? Establish a prayer life. Pray for friends. Pray for godly friendship. Pray for godly accountability. And you have to also be that person that you want. Like, for me, and the reason why I was hurt so bad and I had to go back to therapy before, is because I found that I was doing a lot. I had grown so much. I hadn't really been able to maintain friendships before, and I was in a good place in my life where, like, I was understanding what it meant to be friends. I was understanding all these things, and I got hurt, and that, like, really took me out, because after you do so much work and you get hurt by someone that you trusted, it can really do damage. And so for me, it was just like, okay, God, maybe I had to stop praying about this because I got comfortable. So let me pray again. Let me pray for who you need me to be around. Accountability is really important. So get you some spiritual accountability. That's the main takeaway. Get you some spiritual accountability. Someone who can hold you up and encourage you spiritually. The next, second to last, we're on step 4. Second to last step is to establish a prayer life, right? So the biggest way, I think this should have been, they're not in any order or anything like that, but like, prayer changes everything, right? Prayer change. My bishop right now is in a series, Pray Without Ceasing, and just understanding how important it is to pray. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much, right? So we have to pray. And I live alone, so my prayer life has taken so many different turns. Like, there's been times where I'll be on my knees praying. There's been times where I've been laid out praying. Just the other day, I was just in bed just talking to God as if I was on the phone. Like, prayer is just a conversation with God. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It's just conversation, right? You're talking to Jesus, and it could happen when you're walking down the street. It can happen when you're getting dressed. It can happen in the shower. Like, as long as you are acknowledging him and everything that you do, that's prayer. When sometimes I be thinking, like, when I'm in my head and I be talking to God, does that count? Yes. He knows your thoughts. He's all-knowing. He's omniscient. Like, he knows what you need, and he knows when your heart is postured properly, when he is at the throne of your heart, and when you are communicating with him, because he communicates with us in so many different ways, right? I don't hear an audible voice I don't hear God's audible voice all the time, or I don't think I've ever really heard it, right? He speaks to me through other things, right? Through people, through things that I see, just the world around me. He uses everything to give me revelation. And so why can't our communication with him be, also different? Like, we don't have to just be all loud and boisterous in our prayer, like, all the time. Like, there's a time and a season, right? Ecclesiastes 3:1. Like, there's a time and a season for everything, right? So I want you to kind of like change your perspective with prayer if you think it's supposed to really look one way all the time. Because think about like a relationship. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you text them, you're on the phone, you FaceTime, you may email. There's all these different ways to communicate. And then sometimes after communicating in all these like normal ways, like you can start to communicate with just looks. You can start to communicate with body language. Like, your body language is a form of communication. There's all these different ways that you can talk to God. And so when you start to establish that lifestyle of prayer, for me, like, some of my most amazing seasons in my life, and me and God was just like, we were tight. We were like this. Was when I was always, every opportunity I had, I was talking to him. I was feeding myself with his word, with his music. There was times where I didn't even listen to secular music because I just wanted to engulf myself with his presence. And so I would be driving to work talking to him, have so many moments in my car. So many moments. That's the best kind of time, right? It's just you and the open road. But there's just so much we can do when it comes to building this relationship with Christ, because he's the only person that can use anything to really talk to you, right? Like, he's God. Like, you don't have to put him in a box. So establish a life where you begin to find new ways to communicate with him. You find new ways to love him. And then once you are focused on that, once you have allowed your mind to be stayed on him, you realize that giving away your power is not even a factor. Like, it becomes easier to keep your power. It becomes easier because you now know who you are. You now see yourself the way he sees you because you're communicating with him. So he's going to show you yourself in the scriptures. You're going to read the Bible and it's going to read you back. Like, you're going to do all these things that's going to be like, wait, I can do this. I can do this. And then when you now have accountability, you now have boundaries, and you understand your why, and you're praying, like, miss me with anything, because when I start to pray for real, and I like get in my prayer closet on a daily, it's a wrap. Like, nothing or no one can bother me, because when life starts to try to hit me, I'm gonna go pray. I'm gonna go figure this out and pray. Like, I'm not gonna worry. It does not make sense to pray and worry. They do not go together. So in the times in my life where I found that I was overwhelmed is because my prayer life wasn't really what it should be. So when I now replace that worry with prayer, the sky is not the limit. The sky is not the limit. And so I admonish you to establish a prayer life, because that thing, prayer, oh man. And I see something different in my life ever since I started to pray in the mornings at my church to open up the service, and just having that platform and just really taking it seriously and being able to pray every Sunday. I now know that my Monday through Saturday can't just look any old kind of way, because I don't want that to now interfere with the atmosphere that I have to set on Sundays. And so just like having a responsibility to pray, even if that wasn't my platform, has just reminded me that this should always be my responsibility. And so even if tomorrow my bishop calls me and say, I don't need you to do this anymore, I have now set and established a prayer life. And I pray without ceasing. And life will never be the same once you really establish that. So pray. Just pray all the time. And again, like, it's just talking. Like, just talk to him when you cooking. Hey Jesus, how you doing? Like, I wish if you only knew the kind of conversations I be having with God, the most random times. Like, you're in a relationship with him. He's everywhere, so you can talk to him literally whenever. So establish a prayer life. You have to. And so here we are, step 5, the last thing, and this one for me is really big. It's establishing your voice. I shared with you, I believe, in episode 2, it might have been in episode 1 as well. There would be times where I would find myself in situations and the power exchange is about to go down, or the power is being exchanged, and I'm just thinking, like, why didn't you just say no? Why didn't you just stop? You know you don't want to do this anyway, so why didn't you just say no? Like, what was it that caused you to be like, to silence yourself, or to be in this situation knowing you don't want to be here? Like, I think about the things that have happened to me as a little girl. Like, I think about things that I've gone through and how I had to grow up, and like not really being able to voice myself. I was always being able, like, walking on eggshells kind of sometimes growing up, because I was told to stay in a child's place, or I didn't really feel like people wanted to hear my thoughts or my feelings. And so that's why I started journaling from such a young age, because I didn't really know how to utilize my voice, or I was fearful to do so because I didn't want any backlash, or I didn't want to be reprimanded, because, you know, I was a respectful kid. So I think it started there, honestly, for me. And I don't want to be triggered. This is not what this video is about, but Jesus help me. But I think for women, especially, our voice has been stifled in corporate America, in the church. Growing up in the church that I went to, women didn't really have positions of power. There's all these different things that I saw where the voice of a woman wasn't really prominent and powerful. And so now that I know that I'm powered by power, now that I have a relationship with God for myself, now that I know all of the truth of who God is and who he's called me to be, I'm understanding how to exercise my voice. I'm understanding how to use my voice to say no, right? Like, these last couple of months, I've been in certain situations, and I've been practicing how to say no. Like, no, you can't come over. No, we're not going upstairs. No, I'm not doing this. No, I don't want to talk on the phone after 10 o'clock. No, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. No is a complete sentence. Like, no. No. And I don't know what was it before. Well, I kind of explained a little bit, but it's just like, I can't be that woman anymore who silences herself. Like, I can't. I have to be able to exercise my no. I have to be able to understand that I have power. There's power in my no. And so, yeah, establish your voice and use it to say no. Use your voice to affirm what God says about you. Self-affirmations are necessary. You have to affirm yourself. You have to find scriptures, read them, understand them, and be able to speak them over yourself. You have to be able to write down what you want to see for yourself, the life that you want to live for yourself, the woman that you want to be, the kingdom woman that you want to be, and begin to speak those things. Your voice has so much power. There is power in the tongue. And when you say things and when you back them up with the name of Jesus Christ, then demons start to tremble, number one, but the angels are going to start to do things that's going to really be able to make sure that what you are praying for, what you are speaking, happens, because you know who sits at the throne of your heart. You know who you are. You know whose you are. And when you start speaking with authority, come on, son. Like, God is just waiting. He's just waiting. This is the picture of God that I have in my mind. I just see him in heaven just waiting for me to realize who I am. And every time I realize it, he like lets go of some of the stuff that he's holding back, because he knows that if he give me everything all at once, I might not know what to do with it. So he gives me blessings on blessings, little by little, and he's just waiting for me to really like, yo, I'm powered by power. This is who I am. I am a king of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a king's kid, right? I am set apart. I am called. I am purpose. I have a purpose. I am a peculiar people. Like all of these things that the word says about me. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. Like all of these things that I've been saying, do you really mean it? Do you mean it? Do you mean it? Right? Use your voice to affirm it. And even if you don't believe it at the moment, continue to say it, because you continue to say it until you believe it. Like, your voice has so much power. Use it. Use it. Use it. Speak those things that are not as though they are. And then watch them happen. Because when you start to seek him first, when you establish your prayer life and you seek him first, all of the things will be added unto you. Right? The main scripture that I founded my entire brand on is Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him who is able to do exceeding abundantly. Exceeding abundantly. I usually say exceeding and abundantly, but it's exceeding abundantly, which means that whatever abundantly is for you, he exceeds that. And it doesn't just stop there. It's according to the power that worketh within us. Right? We have to do some of the work to really like get that power to activate, because it's within us. It's within us. And that's why we have to use our voice to affirm these things and to see ourselves the way God sees us. And so we have to use our voice to remind ourselves that we are powered by power. That's it, y'all. Like, I am powered by power. I am powered by power. And so are you. Like, we are powered by the ultimate power source. He lives within us. He lives within us. And so we have to be reminded of that by affirming those things, using our voice, establishing our voice, being confident in our voice, because our voice has power. My voice is powerful. My friend Gifted, Danelle from Gifted, she has a sign that she called Powered by Power, and on it says, my voice is powerful. And like, I see that every now and then, and I'm just like, it's a reminder that my voice is powerful. And so I'm going to use it. And so 5 steps that are helping me, I'm really hoping that they help you, right? You have to establish your why. You have to establish boundaries, establish accountability. All these things need to be established. Establish a prayer life and establish your voice. I promise you, if you do these things, you will find that it'll be easier to stop giving away your power. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so excited for this series. Tomorrow's episode is going to be Stop Giving Away Your Power, the conversation. I can't wait for you guys to hear it, and make sure you are subscribed, right? There's a button down below. It's red. It's free. I can't say it enough. Just do it if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment down below and let me know which one of these steps you're going to try out. Which one of these things you're going to establish in your own life? What have you already established? Let's have a conversation in the comment box below. Thank you so much, everybody. I love you. Have a good day, evening, whenever you are watching this. You're powered by power. Okay, all right. We got video too. Okay.